Hey guys, what's up? Tyler here, back with another video. And in today's video, we'll do something a little bit different. I want to talk about the series The Mandalorian on Disney Plus and why I think it is an extremely successful series and why I'm looking forward to season 2. And before I go too far into this video will have spoilers for pretty much the whole series. I don't want to spoil too many things, but some of the main plot points most likely are going to get spoiled. So this is your warning. And so The Mandalorian was actually rumored to be a Boba Fett spin-off whenever it was first announced. And in my opinion, I'm glad they didn't go with that because I feel like they would have been kind of restricted into what they could and couldn't do because people have certain expectations with a pre-established character like Boba Fett. So instead they went a different route with this Mandalorian we've never met, and I'm extremely happy with that route that they took. And so I thought whenever The Mandalorian got announced, we were just going to get a Star Wars themed bounty hunter TV series. I figured maybe there'd be some Star Wars references, but not a lot. But I was surprised because right off the get-go, you get Baby Yoda, or the child, as it's officially called, because it's not actually Baby Yoda, but everybody calls it Baby Yoda, so that's what we're going to call him. And just a lot of other, I guess, throwbacks and references to different Star Wars elements. We saw the X-Wings in an episode. We've seen stormtroopers, obviously, different types of stormtroopers. Even though the Empire is technically, fallen and disbanded, there's still a presence throughout the galaxy. And so there were more Star Wars related things in the first couple episodes and throughout the series than I originally expected, which is a good thing. So in the first few episodes, we meet Baby Yoda, we meet Mando, we meet Grief Karga, we meet the client, a couple characters that we don't know too much about. And then in the kind of the middle of the series, we have some of what some people might call filler episodes. I would kind of disagree, but I see where they're coming from, but I'll explain that a little bit later. But you see characters that just come and go, and that's all that you see of them. And you're kind of thinking, I want to know more about those characters. But in an age where we're getting series that there's plots that, extend over like 5 or 6, 7, 8 TV series, we're getting characters that we're seeing and that are interesting, that seem interesting in an episode, and then they're gone. And so that's kind of different than what we're used to. I like it because it's just a nice change of pace. But we do get introduced to a lot of characters, some of Mando's old friends that we get introduced to in one episode, and then we don't see them for the rest of the series, which I think is okay. And at the beginning of the series, you kind of get the idea that this is going to be about the Mandalorian reuniting Baby Yoda with whoever he needs to be. But then you get into just some episodes where they're just off doing random things. There are a few time jumps that aren't super noticeable, like in the episode where they're on the planet helping the small village fight the ATST. If I get it wrong, please do not roast me in the comments. They help this village fight it. Later on in that episode, right before it ends, they say, we really caused a ruckus a few weeks back. So if you miss it, there are some small time jumps within the series. So maybe they were there on that planet a few weeks, not just like 2 or 3 days like we kind of think it is if you don't pay attention. But you do have a few time jumps, and you do have just these series or these episodes where they're just off on these random adventures, which I think it's okay. Not everything has to be like super focused on the plot. But if you really watch, those episodes kind of function as character development episodes, especially for The Mandalorian. What I mean by that is throughout the series, I'm watching this, and the Mandalorian, when he first is with Baby Yoda, he's like, don't touch that, don't mess with this, get back to where you need to be, just don't hurt yourself, don't break things. Very distant. And as the series goes on, it's obvious that he forms much more of a bond with Baby Yoda than at the beginning of the series. A lot more protective of him, a lot more, I guess, tender with him, and not so much, just shut up, sit over there, don't bother me. You can just see little things throughout the series. And so, because of that, it almost tends or lends you to believe that the Mandalorian's getting a little bit soft, and maybe he's not as hardcore, and he's not willing to pull that trigger as fast as he used to. And a good example of that is the episode where they're rescuing one of Mando's old friends as a bounty mission, and the rest of them want to kill the one person on this prisoner ship that's just full of other droids, and Mando's like, no, we don't need to do this. Well, they end up killing him anyways. And if I would think maybe the Mandalorian in episode 1, if that had been happening, maybe he would have pulled the trigger and be like, you know what, you're a byproduct of what I have to do. Get out of the way. Okay, you're taken care of. But in this episode, he shows restraint and he's like, I don't think we need to do this. And so little things like that just led me to believe that the Mandalorian was getting soft, and Baby Yoda was just kind of, turning him into more of a father figure, not such a hardcore bounty hunter as he was before. But then he goes and does things like bring this tracker back to his friends, and it's a tracker for the Rebel Alliance to come and blow them up because it's kind of like a failsafe switch for the prisoners. And Mandalorian has his friend's little galaxy hub ship thing blown to pieces. And it's just like, here I thought you were going soft and you were the savage bounty hunter. Next thing you know, you're blowing up your old friends, which probably really weren't friends anyways, more of bounty hunter acquaintances. And it just things you back like, oh, wait, no, maybe he isn't as soft as we thought. That was at least for me. And it left me not knowing what's going to happen next. How is this Mandalorian going to react to something? Is he going to be, show a little bit of restraint, or is he just going to blow him to smithereens? And I really enjoyed that, not knowing how he's going to react in a certain situation. And so I think those filler episodes exist to help develop the Mandalorian's character. I know they're not all super action-packed and it features taking Baby Yoda to where he needs to be, but I do think they do a good job at developing the Mandalorian's character, letting you see that he is a human being, supposedly, and because we haven't seen him yet, and that he just has compassion, but at the same time he can be ruthless and do what needs to be done. And so then episodes 6, 7, and 8, we're wrapping up the series, and a lot of loose ends are tied together, especially episodes 7 and 8. We get introduced back to some characters that we were introduced to at the beginning of the series. Some loose ends were tied up, and I think they did an excellent job at wrapping up this series. Honestly, I don't think there was any questions left unanswered, except for maybe I think it was episode 5, the mysterious character that was standing over the one character they were sent to assassinate. I don't have all my characters memorized. I'm sorry. I've only watched the series one time through. But my guess is that was either Moff Gideon or it was a Grief Karga, one of those guys. If that's the only thing that's left unanswered, I can get over that. But I think they did a good job wrapping up any loose ends that they might have had, introducing characters we thought either were dead or that we weren't going to see again. And overall, I just think they did a good job at wrapping things up and also teasing the next season with things like the Darksaber and just the fact that Moff Gideon's not actually dead. And I knew it. I knew whenever his TIE fighter crashed and there was not an explosion, I was like, that guy's not dead. And lo and behold, at the end of the series, he cuts himself out of the crashed TIE fighter with a Darksaber. And I can't say I was too surprised. And another thing that I really liked was that this takes place in the Star Wars universe and Baby Yoda is using the Force and nobody knows what he's doing except for Quill. Like he knows because of his experience with the Empire. Nobody else is like, what's going on? What is this kid doing? Like, how is he doing this? And it's almost frustrating because us as viewers outside of the Star Wars universe is like, duh, he's using the Force, people. Do you not understand? Do you not get it? But I think that does a good job at showing how expansive that the Star Wars universe is, and that the Jedi and the Sith and the Force is not the center of the Star Wars universe. Like, there are other things going on. Not everybody knows what a Jedi is. Not everybody knows what the Force is. They understand that the Empire exists, but maybe they were like Han Solo. They originally thought that the Force was just some kind of myth or religion and that didn't really exist. All these characters, most of them, had no idea what the Force was. They had no idea what Baby Yoda was doing. But us, we're like, oh my gosh, he's using the Force. But I just thought they did a really good job at handling that. And I'm almost glad they didn't have him be like, oh my gosh, this Yoda uses the Force. No wonder they want to, keep him or use him for testing and experiments. So I just really enjoyed how they handled that. And so one final thing I want to mention is that I guess I would say that my expectations were subverted, or this show really subverted my expectations, because you think what a Star Wars series should be, and you think what's going to happen, but throughout this series I was constantly like, what? Like, oh my goodness, this happened, or this happened, or oh my goodness, these Mandalorians all showed up out of nowhere when we thought that Mandalorian was really done for from the Bounty Hunters Guild. And there was just things that just happened that I really wasn't expecting. You know, the whole thing with the droid and how Mando didn't trust droids, but in the end, a droid is the very thing that ended up saving him. Then you see flashbacks of maybe why he didn't trust droids, and just the whole thing just worked really well, and it was a good job at storytelling. And I'm excited for season 2. You know, there's been hints that there's maybe going to be more well-known Star Wars characters involved, but I'm excited about it. I really enjoyed The Mandalorian, and if you haven't watched it, it is a must-see if you have a Disney Plus account. Definitely one of the best TV shows that I've watched in a long time, that had me on the edge of my seat for most episodes, not knowing what's going to happen in certain situations, and had me looking forward to every episode every week. And that hasn't happened for a long time for a TV show. And so that's going to be it for this video. Just want to talk about The Mandalorian, rambled about it for a while, explained it, why I liked it and why I thought it was a good TV series. And, you know, just twists and turns all around. And at the end, they wrapped up everything very well. Lots of action. And I really think Star Wars can fit this mold well for different series, for different stories about different characters. And hopefully they take it and run with it. And, you know, we'll see what happens if we get any more series. Still would like to see an Obi-Wan series or a movie, because he was the best character in the prequels, but that's for another video. But thank you guys again so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that like button. Also subscribe for more videos from me. We can continue the discussion down in the comment section below, or follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Tyler Miller TV on both of those sites. And so that's going to be it for this one. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.